This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Will look to pick it up and he'll go on here. There's two up here, Bradford. It's Beagrey. He's got to make this count. It's Beagrey. It's 1-1. You'll see a somersault now. You'll get a double one.
Hello, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Here we are, Bradford versus Barrow, pre-game chat. And I am joined by the lovely Diana. Ooh, way up. Way up. Come on, Diane.
I'm here.
There we
Okay.
go.
I'm having trouble today.
Oh, is it that dial-up internet connection you're using again?
Yeah, it's Scoopy Sky.
Right. So, Bradford City versus Barrow tomorrow, 3:00 p.m. kickoff. And the referee is David Webb. So, looking at Mr. David Webb's stats, he's only refereed in the Championship. And it seems that it has given out a grand total in 11 appearances, dished out 45 yellow cards and 1 red card.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, bloody hell indeed.
Oh, yes. Excuse my language.
So, right, we've got an extreme swear word thing on here, so if it goes out. Right, so since 31st of October 2020, Bradford City have lost 1-0 against Barrow. 30th of January 2021, they won 2-1 versus Barrow. 18th of September 2021, the drew 1-all Barrow. 1st of January 2022, it finished Barrow 1, Bradford 2. The 6th of August 2022, Barrow 3, Bradford City 2. 18th of February, Bradford City 0, Barrow 1. So, Miss Diane, what is your thoughts on the game tomorrow?
I think we're going to win it because, like I said on Monday, it's going to be new manager syndrome, isn't it? We're all going to want to win it. They'll want to play for him and to keep the places in the team. So I think we'll come out and win it.
Okay. And what formation do you think he will play? Hopefully he'll play.
I'm not quite sure at all. I think he'll probably play 2 up front, 4 at the back. I'm trying to work out now midfield, and then 4 in midfield. Or he might sort of like do about. Why am I using my hand now? Nobody can see me. Or he might do 3 and 1. You never know what he's going to play. But I think he might.
Do we need to get your abacus out for you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're all right.
I'm all right. I've been working. I've worked it out, yeah. And Harry in goal, obviously. So I've got my 11 players.
Oh, yeah. Harry in goal. So Bradford City are currently 16th in the league, and we're minus 4 goal difference. And Barrow are 8th in the league with 4 goal difference and on 25 points.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on the manager, Diane?
I think he's going to do well. I've seen some of the interviews that he's done, and I think he's done really well with the interviews, what he's saying that he's going to be doing and everything. And when they've shown the bit about him doing the training as well, he has been there on the pitch telling the lads what to do as well. I've only just seen like little bits of it. And I think Chris, whatever he's called, Luke, I think he's going to be a good assistant manager to him as well.
Okay. So with the teams and stuff,
Yeah.
who do you think he will pick? In the team.
Do you know, I was thinking about this on my way home from work walking. Obviously, Harry in goal. If you don't pick Harry, I'll be falling out with him. You know me. Probably Brad Halliday, Sam Stubbs, might do Matty Platt, and then Rydell on where they are. Jamie, Gilead, and Smallwood, and 8 in it, yeah. Yeah, that's 8. And then probably Cookie up front, either Pointing or Smith with him. I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah, I've counted.
Yeah, I'm hoping he plays 4-4-2 with the team.
Yeah.
Just like looking over his stats and stuff. Apparently he likes playing 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So let's just have a look at Graham Alexander's. So Graham Alexander, where are we? So he's managed Preston as assistant manager, Fleetwood manager, Scunthorpe manager, Salford manager, Motherwell, MK Dons, and now Bradford.
Yes.
Just trying to see if it sees anything what he likes. Oh, it says his preferred formation is 4-3-3 attacking.
Yeah, that'll be good. If you just free attacking, because at least then we've got somebody up front to help Cookie, to help Andy Cook.
Yeah. Right. So I'm just trying to see if any team news, not team news. Yeah, see if there's any team news or anything out. So bear with me. Messages, no notification. Let's try to see if we can find anything on the internet.
I tried to have a look, but I couldn't get into TNA bit.
Oh, you can't get into DNA.
No, I don't
So look,
subscribe.
no, me neither.
Yeah.
Come on, right? There's actually nothing.
No.
Let's have a look on DNA. Sports, badminton's right. Here we go. Bantam's opponents. Oh, actually, no, we've got some. Bantam's vs Barrow possible lineups. So, according to TNA and from Nathan Atkinson, he's going for Harry Lewis, Holiday, Matty Platt, Sam Stubbs, Liam Rydhall, Kevin McDonald, Smallwood, Gilead, Jamie Walker, Tyler Smith, Andy Cook. Platt could replace Taylor in the back four, while Alexander could go for experienced midfield in order to complete a possible front two of Cook and Smith. Leading top goal scorer is Andy Cook, and he's thinking the Barrow team would be Paul Farman, Chester, Ray, Neil Caravan. He'll be coming back if he's in the team.
Yeah.
David Worrell, Cots, Campbell, Spence, Elliott, Newby, Dan Tolford, who used to play for Crawley. Oh my lord. Emil, I can't even pronounce that. So former Bantam striker Jamie Proctor could make the squad after making a comeback from injury in last weekend's FA Cup. Also, Ben Whitfield, who is on the Barrow bench. He's been, I think, linked with Bradford a couple of times, and a former, I think he used to be round at Bradford.
I'm not 100% sure.
And then one to watch, young midfielder Robbie Gotts closing on 100 appearances for Barrow, having made his debut for Boyhood Club Leeds, almost like a swear word in here, in the FA Cup against Arsenal in 2020. Oh, bloody hell. So the referee, the man in the middle this weekend, is County Durham, David Webb, who's refereed 11 championship games this season, but none in League Two. So I don't know if League Two is a punishment for him. He has handed out 45 yellow cards, just one red to the QPR Asma Beckenoff. Oh my God, I'm crap at pronouncing names. In the dire moments of 1-0 defeat to Leeds. His last game in charge of City was back in 2018 when he oversaw a goalless draw for Simon Grayson side at home to Shrewsbury Town in the League One.
Yeah, I think he might have been demoted because if he's done something wrong at Championship, it's like you're going down to League Two. So it sounds like he's been demoted.
Yeah, looks like he's been demoted, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, 2 seconds. So, Diane, have you got any more thoughts on the game?
No, just hope I hope that we all get behind the boys and Graham Alexander being his first match, and there's going to be a good crowd there and everything. So I think there's going to be a better crowd than last week.
Yeah, because it's his first game in charge, the manager. It's Graham Alexander's first game in charge. So hopefully the fans will come out in force.
Yeah, I know my mate that wasn't there last week, they're coming, but she had some stuff on last week. But yeah, she's coming tomorrow. But the season ticket holders anyway. So, but yeah, I'm just going to log in onto the website and see how it's looking. Do you like for seat sales?
Yeah. So on Fan Hub,
Yes.
when it kicks into action, I have gone for save. Lewis, Rydell, Holiday, Platt, Stubbs, Poynton, Gilead, Smallwood, Smith, Cook, and Walker. That is my starting 11.
Yeah, I've just been into where I sit in the corp. There's only 11 seats available.
So it looks like it's quite a lot of people then have booked or started to get tickets and then come to watch the game.
Yeah, it's all saying limited availability. So it should be a good crowd. So
looking at a couple more stats, this is from the man in seat 67 on Twitter /X, whatever it's called now. Bobby Poynton has 97 chances created, 78 passes accuracy, 85% touch, 95% aerial duels won, and 51% defensive actions. So he's a proper diamond in the rough.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Charlie, have you got anything you want to say, bud? The Paraders. I've sent you a request if you want to accept it or if you're just happy chilling. So, looking at other bits and bobs on social media. Oh, so it's like Graham Alexander wants the crowd to be happy and lively for his upcoming game.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Hello, Charlie. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing, mate?
I am getting there, mate. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm a bit under the weather today, but, who cares?
No, you haven't got COVID, have you?
I don't know. I had it before, and this is worse than it, I got lucky when I had COVID, but, yeah. Anyway.
I had it last year, and I don't want it again, but I feel like I'm getting a cold again.
Yeah, there's a nasty cold going around at the moment, proper chesty cough.
Definitely.
So what's your thoughts on the game, Charlie?
I think if I'm Graham Alexander, I see like a fan base that needs exciting and also a fan base that he probably wants to try win over as soon as possible. So I think he'll proper go for it. He'll proper go for it tomorrow. That's what I think. I think we'll see a lot of effort. I think we'll be very direct. I think we'll be very attacking. I don't know how well the lads maybe cottoned onto that. You know what I mean? They might still be learning what he wants them to do, so they might not do it the best, and we might not win. But I think we'll see a massive, massive change in mentality.
What formation do you think you'll go for?
Oh, I don't know, you see, because he likes his 4-4-2 or his 4-2-2-2 or his 2-4-2-2 or whatever. He has different ways of doing it. But he might even... I think he'll do 4-4-2 just because that's most similar to what we've done, because we do like the 4-2-3-1 at the moment. I think he'll try do a 4-4-2 just because it's a basic formation and it's something that they can easily learn. But I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what players he's going to pick. I think Cookie and Smith are going to start. I'll do a predicted lineup anyway. I think Cookie and Smith are going to start, and then I think he'll do either Walker or Chapman and Poynton. Then Gilead and Smallwood sitting deep, and then the traditional back four that we're all used to.
Because I hope, like same, I hope we go 4-4-2 tomorrow, and just give some players just take the chains off.
Yeah.
Give him a bit of possession and just fight for the team. It's like looking at a couple of things on social media. Bear with me, scrolling up. Where are we? So from this is Jamie Rayner, pre-Barrow chat with Brad Halliday. GA's appointment has brought life to the club. One-to-one chat and his caretaker period brought the squad closer together. Barrow's defeat at VP last season was discussed. So it looks like he's dragged them all in, hasn't he, and had a fairly chat about with them.
Yeah. I think he's been having one-to-ones, and I think he's aware that there's some players that I think he's pointed out that the squad's a bit too big for his liking. He wants a bit more of a tighter squad, and he thinks there's probably a few players that he'll get rid of. But at the same time, he has said that he's glad that it's big because now he can come in and he's got a lot of choices and a lot of people to work with. It's not like he's stuck with a set starting 11. He can sort of play around with what he finds best.
Because I think the squad is too big anyway.
Yeah, I think it's too big. I think we've got a couple bits of talent, but there's say every player in the squad was like brilliant. It's just too many. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're not going to be able to play them all, and these players on loan, some of them are going to get sacrificed, stuff like that. It's difficult, you know what I mean? Because we've got some. There might be a lad that we didn't think were good, and he's seen him and thought, yeah, I like him, and maybe whoever it is might come in and look a totally different player. Stuff like that happens all the time with managers, doesn't it? So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of things he tries, what he sees in the players, and what he wants them to do.
So looking at the team altogether, we've got Harry Lewis, Colin Doyle and Heath Richardson, Halliday, Rydall, Taylor, Platt, Stubbs, Hendrick, Kelly, Osidina, pronouncing that correctly. Then we've got OK from Brentford.
Yep.
Rowe, Dawson, Richardson, and then Jonathan Tompkins on loan. We've got Smallwood, Walker, Osidebe, Pattison, Gilead, Odor, East, Chapman, Kevin McDonald, Freddie Jeffries, and Andy Cook, Tyler Smith, Oliver Poynton, Daniel or Dylan Bombay, whatever you can pronounce his name.
Oh, you go, okay.
Derbyshire, yeah, I can't pronounce names for shit, mate. Derbyshire, Young, Adam Wilson, Ryan Tuluk, and oh my god, these are getting worse. Kistom O'Connor.
She's a mafoka.
I can't pronounce, mate. I'm dismal. So who would you get rid of out of them? Like, I know obviously we got loans in, so if you get rid of the loan players, but who would you get rid of?
I don't see. The thing is, and I feel I might be in the minority here, but I feel like there's a lot of these players where we've not seen enough of them, and what we have seen, they've been all right. Like Tulloch scored. I think he scored and assisted at Newport. He definitely scored. So maybe I'd keep him. But I think we've got Tulloch, Afoka, Odwa. But I'd keep him just because he's the sort of player that he can play on the wing or in midfield. So I think Alexander would like him. But like Afoka, Tulloch, and I feel like there's more that I'm forgetting. I feel like Hughes has brought them in just because I think Hughes brought them in as a panic because he realised his system wasn't working and he'd need a few wingers. That's the way I see it. Because we didn't have Chapman at the start of the season, and when Chapman's ready, Chapman's ready. Walker, I'd keep him. Some people don't think he's good enough, but I still like him. Me. the back line, I like the back line. I think we've got good depth in the back line. But I can also see how, how people might think we've got too many defenders. We've got Kelly and Taylor, and then we've got a spare right back and a spare left back. But I like having Kelly and Taylor because it allows us to switch to maybe a bit more of a muscly, physical sort of approach to the game when we need to. If they've not got the fastest players and stuff like that, for example, we can use them. But no, I don't know who I'd hound out. I think maybe I won't care if we lost the loans that we've got. I won't care at all. That's not to say they've been bad. I just feel like we've not seen enough of them for me to be bothered. Oyegoki, I think he's overhated, but he isn't. He's still not the best, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind if he went, but he's an option. Osadibi, I wouldn't bat an eyelid if he went. Apart from that, I do like a lot of the players in the team, though.
It's like the great name, the Scrapman, posted messages underneath. Some could be good, I feel. Not many have tried long enough to give judgment on. So there's a few players there who've probably missed out or just couldn't get in the team. So under Graham Alexander, I think he's going to give them a chance.
Yeah.
And if they do shit, then they've gone. They've gone in January. He said he wants a smaller squad. So I think under, tell me if I'm wrong, but under Derek Adams, I think we had a squad of 24 or 25.
Are you sure? I feel like we had a tiny squad, though, under him.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's what I'm trying to say. We had a small team, didn't we?
But I can't remember. I can't remember how many we had. How many do we have right now?
Altogether, including players on loan, out on loan.
Yeah, counting them.
Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 36 players altogether.
So really, we've got 3 starting 11s worth of players. Is that including the youth though, as well, or is that just?
That's including the youth, players out on loan, players in on loan. So we've got quite a big squad.
So you don't have to count them again, don't worry. But I'd discount youth, but we still, if you think of all the players we've got on the bench, they're still players who you could sort of see starting sometimes. Maybe you don't think they're good enough to start, but you know what I mean? Like, say Osadibi's on the bench, and then the next game he starts, nobody's going mental saying they didn't expect it. You know what I mean? That there's like players going in and out and rotating, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, because we've got squad depth and we can approach games differently. But I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of players who aren't going to get their chances, especially young loan players who are here to develop and get game time and experience. They might not get that here at the moment because there's just, there's too many players, and we might need someone, youth players can be brilliant. We all saw like Tyreek Wright and Scott Banks last season, but at the same time, they're also lacking at times, in the most respectful way possible. Like, they're just a bit too raw and they don't look quite ready. But that being said, I've not seen enough of them, Yeah,
I agree with you on that. It's like last season when we had Tariq Wright, Banks and Clislow. Yeah. All fantastic players. Bossing it, and now I think Banks is out injured in it.
Yeah, but he's in Germany's second division, which is absolutely insane.
What's that? What's that like equivalent of? Is it like equivalent of our league?
He's probably like League One-ish. Do you know what I mean? But there'll be teams at the top of that league that are, probably similar to Championship teams. I don't really know how the league works over there, but he's in Germany. I don't know how good a club he's at, but yeah, he's not had a chance to do anything really.
I was going to say I've just counted Derek Adams' squad. There were 23. There were 26 players or 23 players when Derek Adams were here. That were first team.
Yeah, so did you say 23? Sorry, Diane.
23 or 25, something like that. You know me, I can't count today.
Yeah, you can't count. You need your abacus out against that calculator.
Yeah, it's about that, about in 20s.
So should we say just call it 24 round it up roughly there. So 24 in a team compared to like 34 in a team. So that's saying that managers, obviously from like Derek Adams to Mark Hughes. Derek Adams didn't like a big squad. Mark Hughes loved a big squad.
Yeah.
But now it's gone to Graham Alexander, who has now somehow some miracle need to work with these players and kick them up their ass and get them winning. And then Scrapman's replied, I think we should reserve judgment until we see these players playing under Alexander. Agree with you there, Scrapman?
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, it's like...
Definitely.
I'm trying to think of examples with Hughes. I mean, Cook was scoring before Hughes, but you know what I mean? The difference between players, but sometimes they'll just be a player. They'll just be a player who you don't think anything of. And then bang, someone comes in and changes everything. It's so strange.
Do you think we'll get the managers bounced tomorrow? I.e., like we'll win the game, or do you think it'll just be like?
I do think we'll win, but I mean, a lot of managers and players say that new manager bouncing a thing, even though I think it is. I think what the team will find is they'll be extremely motivated. Were it Halliday or were it Smallwood? I think it was Halliday that came in and said that Alexander's already changed the feeling. And I know that's the bog standard sort of stuff you hear when a new manager comes in somewhere. But I believe he will have changed the atmosphere around the club and around the lads right now. And I think that's exactly what we need.
Yep, definitely. It's like someone's... Well, where have I just seen that tweet? So it looks like someone's put... Where is it? About Smith. I can't find it now. But it ran about Smith from that training video. It actually showed him like... Oh, here we go. So this is from TM. Just watching the inside first day. Good to see Tyler Smith out there working hard. Hope he gets his chance soon. Finishing looks sharp.
Yeah, I watched that video just before I came on. Smith, and I also noticed I couldn't 100% tell, but it might have been Alex Pattison, who I saw in the background. Oliver's there now. Oliver played in one of the games that they played. I think they will have had like a 5-a-side or something like that. He were on one of those, so he's been playing in training. So it is looking good. It'll be a while before Oliver, obviously, but you know, still.
So in the video you posted out, am I watching Ash Taylor or Ronaldinho? Made me chuckle that. Yeah. Probably not. I'm going to play this now, but you just look at the scale. He just skims him. If anyone's get you sent on the hashtag and you'll see it. But
I've got it. Oh.
I don't like Ash Taylor. I'm going to say it as it is.
You'll like him. You'll like him when he starts doing that though tomorrow.
Yeah, but knowing our luck, he'll do that and give it away, and then they'll end up scoring from it. It would just, I don't want to get involved, but Ash Taylor, I don't think he should be anywhere near first team anymore, unless he goes and scores a bullet header tomorrow, or scores from a corner or something. Tomorrow.
That's where I disagree, because I think Ash Taylor, he's obviously his technical ability and his on the ball ability is quite poor, but just his build and like his physique, I think he just, like Wrexham, if you're playing against someone who's probably going to lump it up and try head it in, Ash Taylor's your man. That's not to say that Ash Taylor starts every week for me. If I had to choose one player to keep and one player to not keep, Ash Taylor's going. But at the same time, that's just because of how good Stubbs is for me, and Platt. But I think Taylor is a good player under the right circumstances for me.
looking at Taylor though, do you think he's just in the team though for his long throws?
I genuinely, knowing Hughes, I think that's exactly why they signed him, because I think he wanted to do a back three, and thought, yeah, he's a centre half. We need more centre halves. We can play more direct now because he can throw it into the box. But I think like the way Crawley play, for example, I hated Ash Taylor after that game. But Crawley play like the sort of football that you do not put Ash Taylor up against, because he's not the fastest, you know what I mean? Whereas, say Critchlow, for example, he was good with his feet, he were running around, he'd drive up forwards. Ash Taylor's essentially just a big wall, and sort of, not necessarily just a wall, that sounds a bit disrespectful, but like, he's there for the physical side of things. He can use his body to guard the ball and, you know, stuff like that. I do think he's got a lot to offer. It's just about using him at the right time.
So going back just quickly to Tariq Wright, Scrapman again, is looking at Tariq Wright, he was shite at Salford and Hughes got him firing. Now he's at Plymouth, he's not doing as good. Good manager can get the best out of some. But on about Tariq Wright, I heard a rumour about apparently he got substituted, gave some very polite hand gestures to his own fans, and apparently he's not even in the team anymore now. That's what a rumour I heard.
I didn't know that, but what I did know was that the fans, they already hate him. Know that the fans aren't the biggest fans of Tariq Wright. They really don't like him. I've seen people saying, "Oh, get him gone," or "Sell him in the summer," and it's, you know, it just makes me feel bad because he was so exciting to watch for us, so exciting, and he'd be so good at the club right now. He's the kind of player we need, and it does upset me a fair bit, you know, to see a player like that. But at the end of the day, if a League Two club tries to sign you, and then a League One club that's about to go to the Championship, if they sign you, then you're going to go for them, you know?
Yeah. So it's like moving on now from the Bradford versus Barrow game. So I know we've gone off it already, but I'm moving on anyway. So in January, I know we've gone over it a little bit earlier, who do you reckon we need to improve the team? And do you reckon it's going to be Graham Alexander who would do it? Do you reckon that it'll stick with Gent? Or do you reckon someone else will come in like a director of football?
I think they'll stick with Gent for now, but they'll probably have a view of replacing him. Also, can I add the independence groups in here? So hello, I like what you're doing. You seem very neutral, which I like. You let people give their opinions. I suggested the idea myself about doing a Twitter space for people to discuss it politely. I don't know if you'd be a better person to do that. I'm just suggesting it because I think it'd be a good idea, and I'm not bothered if it's me who hosts it or you. I think it'd be better if it were you. And I do think the fans need some way to sort of discuss things. But yeah, sorry, tangent for me. But
if you want to put a request in, board, tell us what you're here for. Because I know you've become active. I know you've been about on social media for a while. I've been keeping an eye out on stuff on social media for you, like looking at what you're posting and stuff. So if you've got time or you want to have a speak today, I'm going to say it, just shoot from the hip and tell us what you want to hear from the fans. So if you want to put a request in and we'll just let you chat, really. If you want to go, if you want to speak anything, or if you just want to stay there and listen, it's completely up to you, bud. So with the club, do you reckon, Roop, what do you reckon the problem is with the club as well?
So I think the main problem with the club for me is the lack of... Oh. Am I all right? Can you hear me?
It's boring. Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
the main problem for me with like the club at the moment is there might be one on the inside, but from what I've seen, it doesn't feel like there's any structure or plan or identity in place. I feel like, the guy's in as a speaker now. I'll keep going anyway. I don't feel like there's any identity at the club at the moment, or like a plan or structure for a plan. There might be, but I don't think there is. Because I've not seen anything about it. And I appreciate things could be going on behind the scenes that I don't know about. That's fair enough. But to me, the plan constantly seems to be get out of League Two, get out of League Two. And that's fine. That's fine because we all want that. But I also think, what do we want to be as a club? What do we want our identity to be? For example, as Forest Green, on a more radical example, Forest Green's identity is to be like a carbon neutral, environmentally friendly football club. What's our identity? What are we going to be about? That's what I feel like the biggest problem is for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let the guy speak now. Anyway.
Yeah. So what? Welcome, Bradford City fans, independents. The shop floor is yours, mate. Shoot from the hip.
Hi guys. First of all, I'm Steve.
Okay.
And I'm known as Bantam1873 on Twitter. So some of you might already follow me. We formed this group quite a while ago now, but we've kind of kept quiet just to really see how things were going, because there was not really anything that we could pursue at that point. And the reason we put this together was a couple of people, mentioned that they had lost a little bit of faith in the supporters group, who, I think done some good things, and felt that there wasn't a good enough conduit to the club in terms of, things that need to be changed, things not working in the stadium, all those sort of things. And we don't really want to cause any hassle to anybody, but we do want to see fans represented. Because they pay a lot of money across the board, and many fans have followed Bradford for a long, long time, myself included. And so what we tried to do was set up an independent fans space, I suppose, where all opinions are welcome, because that's one of the things we've seen as well, is that, people get their opinions shot down just because it doesn't go with the status quo. And for many, many, many months, years, Ryan Sparks has been lauded for what he's done. But I think that over the last, I'd say 12 months, there has been cracks starting to appear as fans have become frustrated. I don't think that the on-field performances have helped. But then the things like the logo, the membership, the loyalty point system. And I personally felt that, these are things that the supporters board should have gone after to challenge the club on. I don't think there's anything wrong in constructively challenging the club on behalf of supporters on things that affect them. So we've tried to basically kind of remain neutral. There's obviously lots of differing opinions. Some people have described the fan base as divided right now. But I think that, there has to be a conduit and an effective conduit where fans can actually kind of express, constructive criticism that the club then has an opportunity to act upon. I'm not into kind of personally insulting people like Ryan Sparks, etc., nor, any of us wanting to do that. I think that the guy has a very, very difficult job. Very difficult, but I have to question, why, we've got a club that was, when Rupp was in charge, was, basically challenging for the championship, and we've seen, factually, we've seen decline, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of plan or nothing that's relayed to supporters to address that, and when we look at people like Stockport County, and that's been mentioned today in the poll that I ran and the comments in there, Stockport County have had like a 7-year plan, which the club is literally everything revolves around that plan. And you can start to see why Stockport are really, really kind of motoring at the moment and have been for some time. For a club as big as ours, why are we not kind of relaying that? Why are we not engaging with supporters to basically get them excited about that? Because I think one of the things that Bradford City fans get kind of tagged with all the times is that we're impatient. We don't give managers enough chance. I disagree with that. I think that we do give them that opportunity. We do support managers. But the reality is because there's no plan that's relayed by the club, there's no involvement for the supporters or anything to get behind, other than, will you buy these tickets, season tickets? Will you buy our shirts? And Bradford City fans will do that anyway. But I think it's coming to a head now because there's no strategy. The Mark Hughes sacking proved that there wasn't really a contingency in place. And so I think that frustration is starting to show pretty much across a big percentage of the fan base now. And for us as supporters, these guys might be in the job for 5, 6, 7 years. We're here for life. That's it. We don't get to choose our kind of allegiance. We're here for life. We have to sit there and take whatever's given to us. So what we're wanting now is we want to try and unite fans where we can. We have, and I speak for, there's 6 of us at the moment involved in this, and we want more people to engage with us and help us. But ultimately, the objective of this group is to represent supporters as best we can. We won't get everything right. We'll never tell any lies. And we definitely haven't got any egos. It's more so about how can we basically get, the club to take supporters' constructive feedback seriously and action it. And a prime example of that is the freestanding. We've been waiting forever and a day for, confirmation of freestanding. Sparks gave a communication out to the public. We've heard nothing since. So where does it, how long do we give the club to become accountable? And how long do we give the club to come up with a constructive plan, that actually supporters across the board can get on board with and support and do things to help? Because I don't think there's any doubt that as a fan base, when we hit 3:00 on a Saturday, everybody's wanting that club to be successful. Everybody wants them to win on field and win off field. So we've come into light because we basically felt that now was the time to do so. We have no other agenda other than, can we support the club? Can we support fans? And can we identify an agenda, which we can feed back to the club and challenge them with action points to report back to us as supporters? I think the first and foremost is we do need a plan. There's no doubt about it. I think we've just kind of floated along on the back of 17,000, 18,000 kind of fan base, with really a mishmash of offering on the table from the club. So I might be wrong. That's my own personal opinion. But the fact is that I think we have an opportunity as a fan base to really kind of build something, a real good, close kind of unit that actually is working for the benefit of its supporters and ultimately will, supporting the club. I think that's about it, unless there's any questions. But there's really nothing else other than that. We're not interested in. I don't want to bicker with anybody. I believe we're all fans. We have differing opinions. Those opinions should be, respected. We might not agree with them, but it comes from a good heart in most cases. But ultimately, I think it's time now that we try and get this club out of League Two and really getting into a position where we should be, in my opinion.
Can I just say, first of all, I really appreciate what you're doing, Second of all, I'd like to say that the way you speak about your opinions, and I want to give you credit for the fact that you're not taking your opinions as the, sort of the be all and end all of it. You know what I mean? You're open to other opinions, and that's what someone like yourself needs to do. I would also like to say this is a bit of a reach. I don't know if you want me to email you or if you want to follow me back so we can talk on DMs at some point, but I really would love to get involved with what you're doing, speak to you about stuff like that, because I think your approach to solving the problems and sort of the tension amongst the fans is exactly the same way that I view it. I've been, seeing your tweets recently. You've been responding to everyone regardless of opinion. Like you've just said now, you want to do something about it. You want the fans to have a voice. I want the fans to have a voice. I disagree with some of the fans. Yeah. Some of the fans disagree with me. Yeah. But at the same time, we can't all sit and argue about it forever and ever. We need to not only sort of lay out, right, these are the facts and these aren't the facts, so that we can get people believing certain things. Not that sounds really wrong. That sounds like I'm trying to influence people. But, sort of if someone says, I don't know, I'm interested to learn more about the funding of the club, then we can find that out and sort of supply them with the details that they need. Stuff like that. I think that's kind of what we need at the moment. And someone who can sort of bring clarity to the fans, not just about what a solution is, but how we can solve it. And also, I think a massive, massive thing is we need to come together and work out what the problems are. That's what I think. Go on.
I'd agree with that. I think, I was in two minds whether to do that poll today because, there's some people who are in the middle. I gave two options, but really the exercise there was I see bit part comments on various different Twitter threads, and I wanted to try and just identify, because how can I build an agenda if I don't really know what the issue is? And to do that, you've got to understand both sides. Some people respect and support heavily Ryan Sparks right now. Some people don't. But I think that some of this is of the club's own doing, if I'm being honest, because let's face it, the communication levels have significantly dipped. It's, most of the communication that comes from the club now is to sell things or to give us, some nice content about the players. The video that they did today was really, really good. I enjoyed it. But ultimately, there is really no engagement from the club about, okay, these are the challenges that we have. This is our plan. Give us your feedback. What do you want to see happen? And I think that that's part of the problem. But if we as an independent group start to then dismiss opinions or pick and choose the opinions that our supporters raise, then we're really no better than anybody else. We're just literally picking and choosing, cherry picking the things that are easy to answer rather than the difficult ones. And I think that today's poll and the comments that have been made have been really interesting. I've learned a couple of things today which I didn't know, for one thing. And I think that's part of the problem is because fans, not everybody is religious on Twitter or Facebook, etc. And then sometimes they're not aware of these things. And so they vent their frustrations because they've not heard of anything or they're not up to speed. And I think that's got to change. And I think as fans, we have a duty to try and make sure that happens as well, that we're kind of spreading, the message that, look, we're all united. We want to basically kind of, see our club do well. These are the things that there's a challenge. And the club needs to respond with, all right, guys, this is the plan. This is what we're going to try and do. This is a 7, 8, 10-year plan. And our objective then is to get back to Championship or Premiership football. So, and some of that might seem like a pipe dream at the moment, but, the reality is that we're spending £500,000 on a ground. We've got maintenance issues all over the place, and we don't know the effectiveness of the commercial deals that have been in place. We don't know whether they're contra deals or cash deals that will support our budgets. Nobody knows. All we see is, well, we've got a new partner. Great, fantastic. But what benefit is that to Bradford City, and will it help?
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Because, kind of change our infrastructure or enhance our infrastructure and enhance match day experiences? Will it help our disabled fans gain better access to the ground? Can we solve the problem behind the cop when we're basically letting people out? These are all kind of really important to fans at the moment, as well as the on-field stuff, because that's important as well. But I just want it to be a group that there's no egos, there's no shiny kind of roles like director of communication, because that's all a load of rubbish. Just a group of fans who love the club, who want what's best for it, but are prepared to basically kind of challenge constructively when we need to challenge. And what we want to do is try and understand what actually fans want, because I know that people are upset, with Rupp, but he's a businessman. He's made an investment. He bought the club, and fact is, he's decided that he doesn't want to be there every week. Fine, but Rupp out, fair enough. But we need another buyer, and we need to basically kind of understand what his plans are for the club. And I don't think anybody knows at the moment.
Would you be free?
Go on.
Sorry, would you be free, Charlie and Steve? Would you be free on Tuesday about 7:00 next Tuesday?
Yeah, should be. We're planning to run a space anyway, which we want just an open space, so I can combine whatever you want to do. But I kind of just want fans to be able to kind of voice their opinion without, being disrespected or shot down. But because that way, the only way.
Being a winner on Valentine's is easy. It's flowers. Don't forget the flowers. Order early at 1-800-Flowers.com and you'll be entered for a chance to win $10,000 cash, a bouquet that's guaranteed to wow, and the chance at winning $10,000 cash. Just go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. No purchase necessary. Ends at 11:59 ET on 2/4/24. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 years of age or older. Sponsor is 1-800-Flowers, Inc. For free entry method official rules, visit www.1800flowers.com/sweeps.
We're going to basically be able to form an agenda of what we do moving forward is by understanding truly what fans want. And it can't be the self-agenda stuff, It's got to be kind of like the bigger picture stuff that affects all fans and what they're unhappy about at the moment or what we need to address. That's my opinion.
Can I just say, first of all, I'm not free Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or the weekend. So I don't know when you want to do it. I'd love to be there, but obviously don't break your back so I can be there. Do it when you want to do it. And yeah, absolutely. I do think, I don't know what to call you. I'll call you Steve because that's your name. Steve, I really, really do like the idea of a space. That's something I've been thinking of for a while. And I think you should absolutely do it because we need I've had enough of sort of not the opinions because everyone's entitled to an opinion, but more so the fact that it always kicks off on my Twitter, on my timeline. It's always kicking off. There's always arguing about what the opinions are. I do obviously I do to an extent care what the opinions are, and as would anyone who has opposite opinions to me would care about my decision because ultimately we all want to agree. But I think we're at a point where that's not going to happen as it stands. Let's go try and sort of find out what fans want to find out, establish what facts are, and then we can all sit and discuss on a space, not only our opinions, but what the facts are with evidence of what the facts are. And then we can, we can do things about it because I'm not doing this to voice my opinion, but just as an example, I'm not Rupp out, and I'm going to see everyone leave instantly now. No, I and that's just because of what I believe and how I believe sort of the club to work. And I like, people believe stuff about maybe he don't put enough money into the club. I don't think that's the case because of how financial fair play, etc. works. But at the same time, a good example there is why don't we do the digging and find out how the financial fair play works and why, if I'm right, that's the case, and if I'm wrong, then I can learn what why that's not the case. That's just an example using my opinion. I think that's the sort of thing that we really should be doing as a fan base. But obviously, you as the figure here, and sort of you're gonna be sort of carrying something that's very big to the club at the moment. And that's just, in my opinion, I think we should all sit down, and if someone's, rup in, someone's rup out, establish what it is about rup, and how he works with the club and how the funding works and stuff like that. And then with Sparks, for example, I think that's a much more subjective thing, because it's not like, did he give us money or is he allowed to give us money, stuff like that. And that's why I think education might be a thing, and that makes it sound like I'm trying to say people who have different opinions to me need educating. They don't. I could be the one that needs educating. So I think interacting with the community and sort of doing stuff like this and providing a debate on a space, whenever that may be, would be a good way for everyone to discuss and get on good terms with each other, because that's what we need.
Because so what you're saying there, Charlie, sorry, and Steve as well, some point when everybody's free, we'll just do a space, whoever can record it or do whatever, and like we could do roop in, roop out, have a discussion. People's opinions are off the chain, so it doesn't matter if you roop in or roop out, and we just have a proper discussion about stuff.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we need. We can have guests on, obviously make sure everyone's respectful to each other's opinions, but I think that's exactly what we need. I think that's it. I hate seeing us all arguing on Twitter, because not only does it annoy me, it's just like, we don't need to be this hostile over opinions. We should use our opinions as a topic of discussion, and sort of, that's how I feel. Anyway, I don't know about you, Steve.
You got something you want to say, Diane Lovestory?
Yeah, I'm like with the parade. I hate it when I see people arguing on Twitter all the time about saying, roop out, Sparks out, it's all their fault and everything. It's not fair, because you don't really want to see that. Like they've been saying, we are all fans. We all support the same club.
It's like, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but there's a documentary on Amazon. And I think, let me just get it back up again. I think it's called, what's it called? Our Club, and it's about Portsmouth Football Club. And it's about how bad state they're in, and like the fans, fans groups come in and took over the club, basically financed it and stuff like that. So if it's an hard one, because I know with Roop, tell me if I'm wrong, but we're watching like the documentary. I can't remember the other German guy, but he came in, obviously bought the club with him, but then the other guy left, and Len Roop basically got left with a burden. So it's like you're saying, it's like a business, innit? He wants to keep, if he's keeping his baby, innit, really, but if people come in and offer want to take it, they'll come and take it. But like, I've heard rumours at games and stuff where apparently there's 3 people want to buy City. Apparently there's some Bradfordians. I've heard Americans, and I've heard like a Dutch feeder team or something going on with the club.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Can I just say about a reply that you've received to the
Yeah, go for it, bud.
To the thing. Some guys just put, I think we should just get behind the lads and clap harder. That's not his opinion. That's him just taking the piss out of me about my views. He's not even listening anymore, but I'm not a just get behind the lads and clap harder kind of guy. I'm not sort of sat here assuming and pretending that there's nothing wrong with the club. At the start of the space, if this guy listens back, I expressed what I believe is wrong with the club. I said I think we need direction. I think we need maybe a bit more communication with fans, stuff like that. So to say that I'm just a happy clapper actually quite offends me. And this is an example of the problem. I'm starting an argument with a guy who's not even listening. So that's City fans for you. But
it's like crypto fans roop out, no excuses. People have got their opinions with the guy.
I'm fine with Crypto Bantam saying that, because he's not getting arsey about my opinion, and that's fine. And he puts his money into the club. Why shouldn't he be allowed to say what he wants? That's fine by me. But it's just like dismissing other people's opinions is what annoys me. Crypto bantam. Go on, Steve.
I think that my final kind of piece now, because I've spoke a lot, is look, the common denominator for all Bradford City fans is that we love the club. Because obviously you can follow sexier clubs than Bradford City, but if you're born in Bradford as I was, then it's my club, and I won't follow any other club, thick or thin. The reality is that there are problems at the moment, and there have been problems for some time. Let's be honest. Even last season, when we were, approaching the playoffs, there was, dissent across the board. Really, I think right now we have an opportunity to try and build something, a movement of some type. I don't really like describing it as that, but something that actually kind of allows fans of differing opinions to get a point across their point, and for our group, with as many bits of help that we can from our fans, to try and engage with the club, to try and get them to take these points seriously, and to try and basically get a reply from them in terms of what they're going to do. If we don't, can we honestly say that, can we carry on as we are at the moment? Do you see success at this moment in time as a fan of our club based on the infrastructure that we currently have? Because I don't know if we do.
I think my personal opinion on the infrastructure is just that, and I can totally understand the Sparks stuff, because what I say, in my opinion, and I'm going to say why I'm wrong as well, which might sound contradictory, but just listen before everyone cries about me. I think if I was Sparks, the decisions he's made, I probably would have made those decisions. And I think no fan complained with the decision at the time. But I guess what the situation is that ultimately those appointments haven't worked, and the man whose job it is to make sure those appointments work is Sparks. So that's why I can understand the Sparks criticism. And another thing I'd criticise Sparks for is maybe just not sticking with a manager. I said this under the thread you put out, Steve. I said that, when it came to it, I wanted Adams out and I wanted Hughes out. But at the same time, you've got to sit there and think maybe you've got to give a manager a little bit more time than we do as a club. And that's not to say we don't have a right to complain about results. Of course we do. I spent my money on going to, Tranmere away. I've been everywhere following City and watching us lose. And why don't we deserve, not just me, why don't the fan base deserve better? And I get that. So, but at the same time, thinking from a player perspective and sort of a grounded perspective, would it have been better to, keep certain managers in? Maybe if Sparks every now and then said, because Hughes, it did turn to shit, but maybe if Sparks gave him a bit of time, he could have turned it round, and that's just a hypothetical. We don't know what could have happened. Like I said, I got to Hughes out before anyone misinterprets that. And I just believe that it can't be good for the players, and it can't be good for the trajectory of the club to sort of stop and start and stop and start constantly. And I get that we've had poor managers, but for me, even though I agree with the sackings at times, does it feel like maybe sometimes we need to keep someone in, It is hypothetical, when we don't know what could have happened. We could have kept Hughes and gone down. We could have kept Adams and gone down. But at the same time, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to cut myself off here because I'd just waffle on forever. But that's my thoughts on everything.
So going back to what you were saying there, Charlie, it's like with Mark Hughes and stuff. I went to the Tranmere game, and Andy Cook came over. Everybody were clapping with Andy Cook and stuff like that. And then Mark Hughes came, and it just turned. But with the club, I see where people are coming from. It's like I'm going to go back to what Steve said earlier. So I've just got up the Bradford City Supporters Board meeting minutes for example, about the leaking roof. And where are we?
Is that the one where they asked for a pool table in Concourse?
Yeah, after a pool table, yeah. So leaking roof in the Cop is worse than this season. Some supporters had to move seats due to heavy rain. Response: the specific issue has been forwarded to Chair to Paula Watson, Director of Operations, and the club, who will contact the supporters who raised the issue directly. And then on about more entertainment, pool tables, arcade machines in the stand concourse. Well, that'd be funny if it all kicked off, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine it?
Space, basically space and supporters from the stadium are factors to consider. The pool tables will not be practical. Common sense is actually moved. But then with the club, I think they need to go back. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but they need to go back to how they were in the past under, I think, when Mark Lawn were here. And they had like tickets for £1 and stuff like that. Family days.
Can I just say, with tickets, sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
With tickets for £1, obviously it's brilliant because we could just sell out the stadium like every match. But at the same time, a lot of our money does come from the fans, and that's what I believe we're up. The reason we have, I think the biggest problem for our funding is the grounds being rented out, and obviously that needs doing something about. And there's an argument to be made that if Rupp wants the club to succeed, a step in that is cutting out the rent fees and just paying for the ground, and then we have a little bit less money to spend at the start of every season. But if we already have cheap tickets compared to a lot of teams, even in this league, and our revenue comes from that, because I always use the Wrexham example. Wrexham make more money because they can get big sponsorship, because they have a lot of eyes on them, what with the documentary and being internationally known and stuff. So I get the stuff, and Mark Lawn, I was too young to know what Mark Lawn was up to, which is why I'm apologising for cutting you off, because you were explaining that to me. But with Rupp, it's very much we decide how much the budget is each season, and that's why I'm a bit shaky with Rupp out, because obviously we could have some, I don't know, Donald Trump could come and buy us, sure, and we'd be sorted forever. But at the same time, someone else could buy us, and it's sort of like, for me, I don't know what people want. If anyone here is, I don't know what you think about Rupp, Steve, but if you want him out, speak to me about it. Crypto, I can see you laughing. You're going to be putting something down there about it, so I'll read that in a minute.
Matty Pedder. That sounds a bit of a dodgy name, but Matt, are you there,
yes,
Matt?
I'm here.
So, what do you want to chat about today, fella?
So I just caught the tail end then of the whole kind of Rupp out situation.
Yep.
And like the parader then, I'm very uneasy about the shouting for that. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first one is, I think we're all forgetting a little bit that in his defence, he was duped into buying the club.
Yeah.
He was sold a real dream by a charlatan with the idea and the premise that he would have to stump up some money initially and have very little input or investment, and would see a return on his investment as we grew throughout the leagues. And I think on that, he gets a very hard kind of pushback from some of our fans. These are the same people that were also conned by Ratic, Julian Rhodes and Mark Lawn. I think they get off very, very easily with their involvement in that deal. And Rupp has been very open and honest in the sense that he don't want to put any money in. He put some money in to save us during COVID, etc. But the idea is to be sustainable. And I was listening to a podcast, The Hard Truth, with the Peterborough chairman, and he talked very open and honestly about how we could publicly put our club up for sale should Rupp want to. But the whole WAGMI deal as well, I think, goes under the radar. WAGMI offered Rupp and the club well in excess of what the club is worth and what the club is valued. And Rupp decided to turn that down. Rupp could have quite easily sailed off into the sunset with a truckload of money, very easily. And he decided to turn that down because he didn't believe that those people, WAGMI, would be able to look after our club. And I think we're very quick to pull him down for not investing. But he hasn't done anything that he wasn't prepared to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like with WAGMI and Crowley, looking at the current league table, under their ownership, they're 14th in the league. And we're 16th.
Yes, we are. But I also think that's probably more to do with the manager that they got in. You know, let's pick no bones about it. In terms of the ownership and the stewardship of Spark, which, again, I'm not somebody that's a Sparks out fan. That's a different conversation. I don't think there's many people, or if they are, they would probably be in the minority. And again, I'm open to having that conversation. But we brought in under Sparks 2 managers, which on paper were very good appointments. They had very good budgets. They failed as managers to get the best out of the team. You know, Hughes last season, we were in probably a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Probably a bit of a false position, really, with the performances that we put on the pitch because of the exploits of both Cook and Lewis. And then for some reason, rather than just making some subtle amendments, he wanted to rip up this idea and go with a 3-5-2 or a 5 at the back, which, you know, there is precedent for teams being successful playing that and getting out of League Two. And then, you know, a lot of the fans, obviously, we're against that. We've seen the turmoil that's created in kind of this unbalanced squad, this bloated squad, as Graham Alexander's talked about. And again, I think that Sparks there gets some kind of undue, in my opinion, some undue kind of venom because he allowed it to happen. But at the same time, we'd have all been up in arms if we'd have known that Sparks were saying, no, you can't have this player, no, you can't do that, and getting involved, just like they did with Jeffrey Richmond. So I think actually, you know, for somebody that's come in, we're commercially better off than we have been for a long time.
Yep.
There's lots of stuff going well for the club, you know, and my final point, because I appreciate I've spoke quite a bit. People, I think, forget about Julian Rhodes and Mark Lawn and whatnot, and how many managers, you know, the Rhodes family actually went through before we got lucky with Parkinson.
So going back to your point about Ryan Sparks.
Yes.
I think looking on Google, he got appointed in 2018, roughly. So in charge, we had, between 2016 and 18, we had Stuart McCall.
Yes.
2018, we had Simon Grayson. 2018, we had Michael Collins, head coach. 2018-19, Hopkins. 2019-20, Gary Bowyer. 2020, Stuart McCall. 2020, Mark Truman. 2021, Truman and Seller. It's like a boy band, isn't it? 2021, Truman and Seller again. 21-22, the guy who could not get a better manager, Derek Adams. 2022, Mark Truman. 2022-2023, Mark Hughes. I've got a painting for sale if anyone wants to buy that. 2023.
I'll put it on my dartboard.
Yeah, put it on your dartboard. 30 quid for you.
Oh,
Mates rates.
Oh, thanks.
Kevin McDonald, 2023, and then Mark Truman, 2023, and then Graham Alexander, 23 to present. So, going back to your point again about managers, and also I'm going to add staff members.
Yep.
Since, I think, like staff members, I reckon they've been changed quite a bit since managers have taken over. It's like Mark Truman's like been round like a bad smell.
Yeah. So, well, hang on. Let's just go back to how you started that conversation, because you mentioned.
Wait. Can I ask you a question as well? I'll wait until after.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
of course. You started that by saying Sparks has been here since X time. He actually only took over the season that when McCall was sacked and Truman. So that's the only period he's been in charge of managers. Stuart McCall was
2018-19 then, were it?
No,
or 2018.
No, 2020, wasn't it? Because it was the COVID year when we sacked McCall, wasn't it?
Is that when he came in 2020?
Sparks,
I thought 2018.
So Sparks took over the season that got curtailed by COVID, because his first announcement was offering Stuart McCall an extended contract, and then very quickly got rid of him. And there is some stuff behind the scenes with all that people can't talk about. Then he appointed Truman and Sellers in interim position until a new manager could be found. And by sheer luck, Mark Truman and Sellers did really, really well. But towards the end of the season, then we found out that they weren't going to take us forward. So he relieved them of their duties, but they were a very shrewd appointment in one sense because of the cost initiative around all that. And then he brought in Adams, and Adams on paper was an unbelievable signing. Experience in this league, just got Morecambe promoted. We bought him out of his contract, and he came. We also had Turnbull at that time, which as a club we decided to go in one direction, but Adams, given his history, given his experience, given his kind of profile, said that's not what I want. I want to be in control, blah, 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 blah. So we turned our back on Turnbull. It didn't work out under Adams. And then we brought Mark Hughes in. And that's where we are at the minute. So people talk about the managers. I'm not sure, Conor Tellers and Mark Truman, nobody saw them doing really well that first time. Although after the Newport game, the results quickly declined. But we weren't in fear of being relegated, so there was no point making a knee-jerk reaction there. Wait till the summer, bring somebody in, which is why we got Adams.
Can I just ask a double-barreled question?
Of course.
So first of all, everything you said is 100% right down to the detail what I believe, because and I am going to get opinionated here. I've tried not to be, but because one, it's based on fact, and it's not subjective, and two, I just agree with it. Right, and then my questions for you is, I think personally, I believe that what the one thing the club needs is an identity and a plan. And I spoke about this earlier, so sorry for the people that have been in here a while, because it's going to feel like a broken record a bit. But I think we need an identity and a plan, and there might be one privately, but I think it would reassure a lot of fans to know that we had one. But for me, sacking and hiring and firing isn't the best way to do things. But more importantly, it's not a sign that we have a plan, and it's not a sign that we know what we're going to do. And regardless of what you thought about managers, I think we can all agree that hiring and firing is not the answer. And even if, Alexander could lose his first 2-3 games, whatever, is that a sign? If we sacked him, it doesn't represent him. Mm-hmm. And that's just an example. Obviously, if we were bottom at league at Christmas, he'd be gone. But, what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't fill me with confidence that as soon as form turns and the fans turn, that's it for a manager. That's exactly what it is all the time. And I feel like, to me, it doesn't shout. One, it doesn't shout that Sparks has bollocks, which, I do like Sparks, so don't take that wrong. But it's not a good look for a guy that's under criticism to sort of do that.
Well,
so I was wondering, first of all, would you agree with that revision and what I've said about hiring and firing? And in fact, no, that's it. I was going to ask about hiring and firing separately, but it sort of goes nicely into one question. So There you go.
So, thank you for the question. So this is about kind of, do I agree with that vision that we don't seemingly have a vision to kind of put out to our fan base?
And also that if you do agree with me or whatever, do you think we need one? Do you think that's the problem at hand?
Okay. So firstly, thank you for recognising that I speak about facts and I try very hard to stick to the truth. I take a lot of emotion out of it. It'd be very easy as a fan to get carried away. And I'd like to go on record to say as well, I wasn't a fan of getting rid of Mark Hughes. I don't agree with hiring and firing managers. And I think it's very hard to build a vision and build a plan if you are hiring and firing managers.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. What I would say, though, and this is where probably a lot of fans will turn against me, I would imagine, or maybe say some stuff. But I think as a fan base, that word toxicity has been spread around previously. But as a fan base, we have to take an awful lot of responsibility for that hiring and firing culture. And the reason I say that, and there might be some shocked faces, but the reason I say that is because our club, as it is at the minute, in the hands that it is at the minute with Rupp, for example, is based on sustainability. Is based on this idea that we sell a lot of season tickets. If Sparks had have stuck with Mark Hughes and didn't make a change, you can already see on the likes of this platform and on Facebook and so on and so forth, the amount of people saying, I'm not going to sign up next year. And what they don't realise is, if we don't sell the season tickets in the volumes that we currently sell them at the ridiculously low price they're already priced at, we don't get out of League Two. So
100%, 100%.
So when we're talking about vision and an identity, yes, it's great to have a clear idea of how we want to play. That's the reason that Graham Alexander was, according to his records and the information that I've read about him, is the reason he was removed very quickly from MK Dons, because as a club, MK Dons went, we want to play in this particular way, and he wanted to play in a way that just got results. And I know it went a little bit wrong for him, but that's not a representation on him, given his experience and his history elsewhere.
Yeah.
Where we are failing massively as a club is that we're in League Two. And we have a stone around our neck, which is the cost for the stadium. And I've got some information around the idea around the stadium. If people ever want to hear that, I'm happy to share it. And until we get out of League Two, we can't really stamp a vision and an authority, because we don't have the longer we're in League Two, the more we're going to suffer. And the quicker fans are to get on people's backs because it's not going the way that it's going, the knee-jerk reaction is going to come. Do I think we'd have got relegated under Hughes this season? No. Do I think the way he was performing would have got us into the playoffs and things like that? No, I don't this season, but there was clear signs that he'd realised the formation at the back hadn't worked. But by that time, I think it was too late. So, it's a bit of a limbo. Should he have gone? Should he have not have gone? But I think the reason Sparks made the decision to remove him is because you saw the toxicity from the fans, the booing and all that kind of stuff. And these are the people that pay our players' budget.
So on about like you're saying there about the fans booing and stuff, it's like everyone here pays their well-earned cash, in the words, to be entertained. And going to games and like playing negative football, passing around the back, it's just boring the hell out and the annoying, and just passing around from the back and not attacking and just you go and score. Well done, you've scored. But then Mark Hughes goes, the chains come off, and the team are completely different.
I totally agree with that. What I would say is, under Parkinson, it was horrible to watch. We passed it 2 or 3 times. It went to McArdle and he hoofed it up front. So, there is an argument for different styles, and I don't know about any other fan. I want to win. I want to win and get. And if we win every game, 1-0.
Absolutely. And you can't please every fan when it comes to play style either.
But I just think that we can't really. We're not financially in a position where we can afford to have a clear vision, if that makes sense. Sparks has come out a couple of times. Beginning of the season, he said, we want to be attacking more. We want to be doing this, and they all say the right things. It's like that age-old sentence by Mike Tyson, right? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Sparks and the club had a vision to play attacking football, to play exciting football, and then Hughes doesn't play that because he's the manager, and Sparks doesn't get involved, telling him how you should play this, because if that got out, the fans would be even worse at him going, leave, what do you know about management? I've already seen people saying, what do you know about running a football club? We're so quick to pull the knives out on a guy that is basically single-handedly keeping our club ticking along until somebody comes in and offers us money and can invest in us and move us forward.
So
go on.
Sorry. So Sam has just tweeted us, until we get to League One, brackets if, I am not asked about the football as long as we get a win. But if we play shit football and don't get a result, that is the problem.
Because think about this, right? I don't know the exact figures, right? So, but I'll be really simple with the mathematics, right? We pay £1 million, say for example, per year to rent the stadium, right? And I know that's not right, but let's just go with that simple maths. In League Two, let's say for example, from the FA, we get £1 million. So we're on 0 footing there because that £1 million that we get helps to pay for the ground, right? And then all the season tickets goes towards a playing budget. If we get into League One, the money that we get from the FA increases. So all of a sudden we're better off financially, which means we're then in a better position to pay for better players, to have a strategy. Does that make sense? Getting out of League Two it is the be all and end all for our club. Our history shows that we've spent more time in League Two and League One than anywhere else, right? But we can all agree that with the fans that we've got, the size that we've got, we should be a championship club. But I also think as well, those figures about how much, we talk about how great our fan base is and the numbers that turn up. If you added an extra £50 to each season ticket at the same numbers, we'd be even better, right? We'd have more money, we'd be laughing. But I would put my mortgage against the majority of the people that buy a season ticket. If it went up even more, would complain and not get a season ticket. So,
on about the finances, I've just hung it on Google and it's actually come up with the Bradford City, like the main page. So this is 2021 to 2022 accounts review. This is on the official Bradford City website. We've had 6.8 million operation income, 0.5 transfer income, 7.3 total income, 2.9 million first team players and management, and yada yada yada. But like further down, it's on about COVID and basically paying Derek Adams out. Where are we?
We've got two managers to pay out. Well, not
two managers.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how.
And he won't have been cheap.
Yes, I'm not sure how up to date the Adams figures will be because you pay him out until he gets another job, and he got into a job very quickly.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Whereas Hughes, I can't imagine he's going to manage ever again, right? So we have that to pay. However, that's dressed up, and it won't be over. It won't be one thing.
299000 was significantly, I can't even pronounce that word, by the departure of first team manager Derek Adams in February. So that's nearly 300 grand or 300k we paid out to Derek Adams.
Yeah. So, Matt, again, everything you've said I can get behind because you speak on fact, like I've said. And you've spoke about what the fans could do to sort of improve things, or how a fan-focused way, not necessarily how that's the best solution, but you know what I mean? You've said how increasing prices would help and stuff like that, or how the fans fund it, blah, 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 blah. That makes it sound like I'm calling you boring when I say blah, 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 but you know what I mean? So Do you think there's anything from a club side that the club could do better? Or maybe Sparks or Rupp? What do you think could be improved on the club side, not the fan side?
Oh, there's a lot.
Go on then.
So I'm not somebody that is able to through work and family commitments. I'm not able to make away games, and I know that there's often this big hoo-ha about loyalty points and how that works, etc. One of the things I would advocate for, and again, this is a very kind of high level. I've not looked into the numbers specifically, but I would almost create another season ticket for away fans, so that you pay, I don't know, maybe 30 quid for a year to be the first person to get a season ticket for an away game. It's not about loyalty points, because those people that often go to the away games would probably, if they knew there was a way to guarantee a ticket almost, or be certainly get first refusal, would probably pay that difference rather than having to worry about, I'm going to 3 away games, so I only get 3 points or something like that. Does that make sense?
They did it in the past.
Go on.
Sorry, they did it in the past though, Matt, where you paid 30, 40 quid or whatever it was for.
It was 50 quid from memory. It was like an exclusive travel pass or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that.
You would basically, Salford tickets would sell out in space of like 2 minutes. You would have to be quick on it.
I would also, so this is the other thing as well, I would also limit tickets to 1 per person. I think, and again, you're not gonna appease everybody, right? But I would imagine most people that go to away games go with their friends, or family. So if you all had a unique season ticket number for away travel, for example, and you were able to give those numbers, then each ticket would be attributed to that season ticket number. So you're not falling into a case where somebody just turns up and goes, I want 20 tickets, for example, and then tries to resell them. You've got actual analytics, you've got actual data attributed to who's bought those tickets. It would also then help with the seeming problems that we have with the younger generation at the moment, who are causing problems that we end up being fined for, because the ticket you've got in your hand has a digital code, and that's attributed to that ticket.
I think the problem though with it would be, Bud, is if like Torchy and stuff like that, Bingley Bantams, Shipley Bantams and all them lot, they'll probably find a fault with it where, say, they'll try to fill a coach up, and say you can't get a ticket for that game, for example, but you want to go on the coach, you can't go to the game. If that makes sense where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So again, there would be some leniency with that, because, if we're going to be, really honest about things, right? Everybody knows what away games are happening at the beginning of the season. So it's not like an away game is sprung on people. So with a little bit of planning, a little bit of foresight, you could probably work it with a group like Bingley Bantams, if that makes sense. You could probably work out that.
Yeah, it's like with... Oh, has he muted himself? With that, though, it's like, for example, what game can I think of? I can't remember what game it was, but there's like a game in the past where the tickets have gone live like a week before because there's been an absolute balls up from like whoever sent them out.
Was it Carlisle?
Can't remember what game it was. There were proper balls up with it, and tickets
it happens all the time, though, stuff like that.
But like we've met on about away travel and stuff. It's like there's some teams now. I'm going to go. I think is it Stockport, not Stockport, Sutton and AFC Wimbledon. They do like QR codes, and I thought it would be easy if like most of the teams like would do a QR code, or 20 is plenty for a away ticket.
Well, no, I think that the reason we're talking about away tickets, though, is purely because we could an away season ticket could fund the club, and it's a way for fans who want to fund the club more, and it doesn't necessarily take away for those who can't. But like for me, I go to every away day that I'm available for. I would 100% buy that and it's extra money for the club.
Sorry to interrupt, because there's a couple of things to pick apart there, right? What somebody on here is probably better addressed to tell me this. What is the highest away following we can take somewhere? Like, what's the highest number of tickets we could get for an away game?
It depends on where you're going. You see, I'd say on average, probably it changes depending on the club and how much they want to give us. But sometimes
1,500, isn't it? Really?
So sometimes 2,000 if you're very, very lucky.
So you'd probably say, right, you would have to, as a club, again, not everybody's going to be happy, but you'd have to limit the number of these away season tickets that you could offer. Because you can't sell another 18,000 of them, because then you're back to square one, right?
Yeah.
And there's a way to kind of offer them out as an early bird to certain people based on the current loyalty factor. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't just open it up to all fans to buy this away season ticket loyalty scheme, because I might go and buy one and be able to buy it really quickly, and I've never had a away ticket in my life, for example, whereas you've just mentioned there you try to go to lots. So based on loyalty points, you would offer it to certain people firstly, and then you cascade that down until, say, I don't know, a maximum of 1,700 are sold. Then what you're doing is you're limiting the competition for a ticket. So you're up against 1,500 people to be able to buy one ticket, as opposed to up against the 18,000 that could try and get a ticket based on loyalty points or whatever. So there's potential legs in that. The other thing, cup games. Rather than cup games going on sale, there should be a very specific, let's just say, for example, the Wickham game. That when that cup game is, right? So you could sell you could sell to season tickets in advance. So people who have a season ticket could have their own seat, and you could offer that as a solely people with season tickets have got, I don't know, 3 days to buy a ticket, but you can only buy a ticket for your own seat, right? And then, because I've got a season ticket, I sit 2 rows behind the dugout, bang on the halfway line. I love my seats, unbelievable. If it's a cup game, though, if I'm going to Valley Parade, I want to sit in my seat. But if that goes really quickly, I'm a bit put out then. I'm like, I've got to sit, somewhere different. But if I've got 3 days to purchase that seat, for example, well, if I don't purchase it within those 3 days and then it goes, I can't really complain. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I think that's a very simple thing that they could roll out. That would, we're only in one cup at the minute, but for next season, for example, that's something you could roll out very easily. That's not a cost to the club, but can show some kind of commitment to the fans that want to sit in their own seats. Apart from people in Midland Road or the Cop, if they're not opening those, and which I appreciate, then it becomes a little bit of a. But then those people that are having to be relocated should at least get the second wave. So, for example, the main stand, I should get 3 days or 2 days or whatever to purchase my seat. If we're at a cup game where, say, for example, they're not opening the Cop or they're not opening Midland Road, and those people have got to logistically move out of their seats, they should get then 2 days to find an alternative seat, and then it should be opened up to the masses. That would be something very simple that you could roll out that would make that whole process a little bit easier to swallow.
Yep. Have you got anything, Steve? Sorry, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Have you got any thoughts on Steve?
To be honest with you, I was just saying I have to go, and I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak, guys, and thanks for people for listening. I'm sorry to cut and run. Unfortunately, I've got I'm going to go have some dinner now. So thanks very much. If anybody has any questions, please get in touch. We're not. We're open to kind of all ideas, and just keep watching out for the space. And if you do want to do a joint space, then let us know.
Steve, could you drop me a follow back, because I can't DM you since I'm not.
Yeah, I will do in a second, mate. Yeah, sorry. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
So on that, Steve, me and Charlie and probably a couple of other people will organise something when everybody's free, and we'll go from there, mate. If that's okay.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Cheers. And Mr. Ham?
And let's get a win tomorrow, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Up the chicken!
Up the chickens!
On that, I'm probably going to have to leave as well because I've got some other meetings to kind of take part in. But I'd like to thank everybody for kind of giving me some time to speak. I've been quite vocal on Twitter recently, especially asking people questions against their opinions, which I'm all for free speech, but I like things to be backed up with kind of rational thought and facts. I mean, before I dip out, if anybody else has another question for me, I'm happy to answer. Or
I want to say thanks for coming, Matt. And we're going to have, like, me and Diane and a couple of them, and Charlie, aka Parade, and my friend Callie and Stan. We normally do like pre and post match chats, so we're always welcoming people to come and join us and stuff, and just have a chat and just have a discussion.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah.
Charlie,
I just wanted to say, is there anything else you'd think? Because obviously we went on a tangent about away season tickets rather than stuff that had sort of helped the club. So if there's any like last point you could squeeze in on how the club could do things to help the club.
What I'd like to do is actually give it a little bit more thought. There are a number of things, but I think if I was just to blurt them out now, they'd come across as a bit wishy-washy, and I don't think they'd do anybody any justice. But I definitely have some ideas that I think would benefit on both sides.
All right. I just want to say as well, you speak really well. You're on my side at arguments, so that's good for me. But yeah, cheers for coming on, mate.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Matt.
Thank you.
Diane, love, you got your hand up in the corner there.
Yeah, I've been sat here waiting patiently. I'm a woman. I don't push in. No, I was just going to say I was going to grieve him about the seats, like the cup games and everything. But luckily, when the Wickham tickets went on sale, I got my seat. I made sure nobody could get it straight away.
Right.
So, yeah.
I know we've waffled on very much. So, my favourite part. What's the score going to be tomorrow? Diane?
Oh, I'm going to say 2-1.
Parade, Charlotte?
I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 win.
Oh,
I've not got faith in Harry.
He's not faith in Harry. I think it's going to be 1-0 City. And on that note, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope Scrapman thinks it's going to be finished 2-0 Bradford. You can follow this podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, and even we're going global, iHeartRadio.
Wow.
Also, you can get us on Bradford City Up the Chickens on Facebook. Possibly we're in discussion. We might do a space tomorrow about I think I set it for 5:30. Thank you for listening, everybody. Good night.
Night.
Bye.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.